As a level 17 Mogul Hunter, I've been neglecting on using the monster Slugger. And even near the early game, you drop off these weapons very easily because it's so sluggish. So two other early game weapons like the Wolf Stick and Technofist has better abilities that help you survive. They have farther range, and specifically the Wolf Stick summons the wolf to take your damage. So what does the monster Slugger bring to hand? Well, the monster Slugger is a close-range damaging weapon that can attack several enemies. Every 4th hit gives a large attack to slow non-passive enemies. So the monster Slugger can be a decent weapon early game due to the monsters not dealing damage, allowing the monster Slugger to strive. However, later on you'll be relying on healing with your gadgets and passive abilities very frequently. This is very underwhelming because in the current meta it favors long range. In addition, as you progress, there is a specific weapon that pretty much kills the monster Slugger. And that weapon is Toothpick and Shield. Toothpick and Shield is a close-range weapon that can hit several enemies and help your team take very good damage, since it has a passive ability to be dealt 25% less damage. In addition, after getting hit 15 times, the next attack will slam and deal damage and stun a large area. As I mentioned about far-range meta, you need something to prevent them from getting into them in the first place, right? Well, Toothpick and Shield is a very good synergy because it takes a good amount of damage. However, Monster Slugger doesn't have anything to help team synergy-wise and survival as I mentioned. But hey, you mentioned that big slam the Monster Slugger has. Doesn't that make up everything since it kinda prevents the enemies from reaching you? Well, by that time, you're probably near to death, and it's not as useful as you might think. Because most enemies have very quick attack speeds. So based on what I said, I would not recommend upgrading this weapon. It has too much weaknesses that makes this an underwhelming weapon. Anyways, if you found this useful, consider subscribing and check out this video.